Okay, go ahead and share your screen.
So are you able to see my screen?
Yes,
Yep.
Rasmita. So
Okay.
talk about the specific requirement. Yep, what you have, and try to
So
explain as well what this requirement is about and when this requirement comes into play. So some type of sort of context, right, regarding the requirement. Then we
okay.
can dive. You can dive into the scenarios afterwards.
Okay, so this requirement is kind of need ability to calculate loan payment based on predefined calculation, and
Okay.
it's given 60-month time period. Okay, so so basically when I think like a tester, what tester can think this type of scenario. So basically I took 60-month as a less than and greater than and 60-month. So which in 60.
Okay, can I ask you one question, Rasmita? Is it
Sure.
Rasmita speaking? Sorry, I
Yeah,
can't see
yeah.
it here.
Mhm.
Okay, so you explain the requirement. Can you explain me who is doing the work and what business process this
Okay, here.
requirement will come into play?
Okay, here the dealer user, after collecting the all data and the loan processing, kind of like credit applications and everything, then after
Okay.
that he is going to send that to lender by the processor. He's going to send the system, and system that will go by email to the lender. So
Okay.
after that, lender will see that all the documents and everything, then he will calculate and he will evaluate. Then after evaluating and everything, he will see, so he will do that while reject or approve or reject. That will
Okay.
he make that decision.
So when does the loan calculation comes in the picture? I know you described the overall business process, but
Okay.
what point the loan calculation will come into the picture? Can you explain what is your understanding is what point this requirement will come into play?
So here so here I wrote during the 60-month basis. So he can able to calculate using the predefined calculation, and I selected like
No, Rashmita, I think it's what Harshal is trying to it's point it out is, can you describe when actually the dealer user will come and trying to do this function? Right,
when
so give me the context.
When the dealer will able to calculate. Sorry, can you?
So think about scenario where dealer will try to execute this functionality. So anybody else in the class can tell us at what scenario the dealer will try to calculate the loan payment.
Yeah, this is Sashmita. I want to, put forward my view when the dealer is going to do is when the dealer want to submit a loan application. At that time, he need to calculate the loan payment before he submit the application.
Okay, so the
So
customer is sitting in front of him, right?
Uh-huh.
And dealer, the customer says, I want some loan,
Mhm.
basically, and
Mhm.
dealer says, yep, if you get this loan, we can fix your car, right?
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
at this point, dealer needs to figure out a way, okay, what would be the monthly payment so that customer basically he can give that number to customer and see if he can afford it, right? Kind of like a just
Yes.
simple thought process, a common sense scenario,
mhm.
right? And that's where he will interact with the system and
Mhm.
come up with basically interact with the loan calculator that is provided as part of the function within the system, and he will input certain numbers and so forth, right? So that's the overall context of this requirement. Hey, but what are you validating here for, or what as a QA? Now, if you
Mhm.
scroll a little bit up, can you scroll a little bit up, Rasmita, your screen?
Okay.
Just
So here.
go back to the
Yeah, the other
requirement.
direction. Yeah.
Yeah, go up. Yep.
Okay.
Let us see the requirement.
Yeah,
Mhm.
just hold on there. Yeah, right. So,
Right.
okay, so now let's look at that. What is the key thing that you're testing here?
So I can taste here, say like, so that's a back 2.3.4 where the loan calculator that's written. So the detailed description written that this is a process of calculating loan payment on arfloan.com based on loan amount requirement field. So in that way, so that's a particular, I think they gave some formula kind of thing or something. So where we can put the detail amount and calculate that one. So where it will come correct or not. Yeah.
So if you think about it, right? So you just said that like it's the data that you're going to input is just the loan amount, right? So why are you having in your tree the scenarios or conditions for the time period, which is either 60 month, less than 60 month, or greater than 60 month? Is that an input that the dealer is going to provide it?
So in that 60 month time period, so he can do that one, I believe. So
think about it, right? If there is no input required, why would you ask a user to give that data, which you're never going to use that?
So here, the requirement says it will always be 60 months, right? For predefined calculation, it will always give you 60 months payment, basically, right?
Right.
So you will not have anything to vary here, like less than 60, greater than 60, and so forth.
Yeah. So yeah.
Okay.
Do you, yeah. So.
Okay. Go ahead, Dilip. Yeah.
Okay. I'm just sharing my screen.
Hang on, Nitin.
Okay.
Yep.
Let's talk through what Rashmita is sharing, right? So Rashmita, go back and share it. Rashmita, whatever you're sharing, let's go back to that.
Yeah,
so I want you to
stop that one. Yeah.
No, go ahead and reshare it.
Oh, I need to share again?
Yeah, please.
Oh, sorry.
Because we do want to talk it through, okay? Before anybody else,
Okay.
shares it.
Right. So coming back to the point, right? If you're not providing any input for the duration, and duration is always 60 months, the first layer that you created, it doesn't add any value, right? For you to testing.
Okay.
Because think of this way, if I'm not expecting user to provide me that data, why would I ask them, right? So that's one thing that you need to probably think about it. Now let's talk the second layer you have it, right? When you talk about the correct data and the wrong data, what is your thought process there? What do you mean by correct data versus wrong data?
I think that said that written that a predefined calculus means they given some kind of calculation process like a loan calculation, so that formula kind of thing. So where we need to put that correct data. So where
no, but what is the data? What is the data that they're expecting to put?
So data expecting that where they collect the credit card, that form kind of thing, where what is that?
This is, think of it, right? That's why Herschel, like it's pointed out, where does this process happen? This process happens before the customer decides that I want the dealer to apply a credit application on my behalf. This is a step before it, right? So what is the data in your mind? What is the data here? Anybody else? What do you think? What data is required for this input?
The loan amount, the loan application, the loan calculation, loan amount, the interest rate, and the time period.
No, it is only loan amount and minimum monthly payment.
Well, so hang on. Let's talk one thing at a time, right? So Daisy, you talked about three things, right? The loan amount, interest rate, and a time period. But we already talked that time period is not going to be asked. It's always 60 months.
60
so that's period. Not the case, right?
Okay.
So the second aspect is the loan amount and interest rate. And Sushmita, you were saying? What
saying
the
only
third
for
one?
Monthly, the monthly payment.
monthly payment.
Okay, so
What will be
think
the
about
monthly
it,
payment?
right? So if I'm already providing you monthly payment, what I will pay it, why even I need a loan calculator?
Yeah, true.
Maybe it is needed because you have the loan amount, right? So for this
But
amount,
remember, your monthly payment is going to be dependent on whatever you ask for a loan. So if I ask for $100,000, my loan monthly payment is going to be different than if I ask for $1,000, right? They
But-
can be same.
But it depends on the repair cost.
no.
Right, but the monthly payment is not based on a repair cost. Monthly payment will always be based on the loan that I have it, right?
Yeah.
So think about it. You go to buy a car.
Yeah.
If you buy a luxury car, $80,000, do you expect monthly payment to be same as if you buy a basic startup car of $10,000?
Not at
No.
all.
No.
You expect different, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So your loan payment amount on a monthly basis should always be somewhat related to your loan amount
Mhm.
if your time period is fixed, right?
Uh-huh.
So the question I want you guys to think about it is, what is the input that you're providing it here? Because without that, you can't say it's, hey, whether this is a correct data or a wrong data, because I don't have a context of what data you're asking.
I think the input we need to put in it is a loan amount.
Loan amount. Yeah.
Requested.
Okay, so the loan amount, right? So what is there any other input? So when you're doing the
Maybe-
analysis of a requirement, right, you need to think about what input you're providing it, right? So now for a moment, pause on a thread, right? So loan amount is one thing that you needed. Do you need anything else? What about interest rate? I think it's Sushmita, you mentioned about it, right?
I did that.
Or Daisy, you mentioned it.
Yeah, I did.
What about the interest rate? What do you guys think about interest rate here?
I think they count the interest based of the amount of the loan you ask for repair. So like for example, if you ask a little bit money, so they can ask the interest is not gonna be the same like someone who asks
Okay.
more money.
So let me ask a question, right? So if you take in a loan at interest rate of 1%, is your monthly payment expected to be the same as if you take the interest rate at 10%?
No. No.
Okay. So is the payment itself is sufficient?
With the
Even
interest
we
rate,
can
it
What
is
is, let's read through requirement. What does requirement say? So when you read a requirement, do you feel that you have an application of 3C and T there? Remember what I said, it always, you apply 3C and T first. Do you feel that you have that completeness of the requirement?
Nah, honestly, I don't think the requirement was complete.
So what is missing? Let's talk through that.
The interest rate.
interest rate.
Is it?
Yes.
I think it's the
interest rate, and one more thing is missing, like for how many months he want to.
Well,
You
the
know,
months is very clear, 60 months.
It's written already
That's
there.
fixed. Yeah, that's fixed, right? Yeah.
is it the predefined calculations?
Yeah, so Shiba, what do you mean by predefined calculation? You tell me.
So basically the amounts that they already pre-calculated for, so that's going to be like, if it's going to be 15,000, 10,000, you know.
No, but if its amount is already pre-calculated for me, why would I even ask a user?
I mean, but you're missing the data though. You're missing like the information to
What information you're missing?
you're missing the information that you can input into like the requirement. So it says need ability to calculate loan.
Okay, so
maybe.
Don.
So basically if they qualify or not.
So Don, hang on to that thread, okay? Let me ask you, if you feel the requirement is missing, Herschel is our business users. What questions you will ask Herschel?
what do they mean by the predefined calculations?
So ask him.
Hey, Herschel, how are you doing today?
Great. I'm glad you guys are getting to the conclusion here. So, yep. Okay.
I wanted to know what you meant by the predefined calculations over the 6-month time period.
Right. So that's a good question. Actually, it is not specified in the requirement, right? If you look at the financial formulas, typically it will give you some type of interest rate calculation and all kind of things, right? But in this, to simplify it for you, I'm going to give you the calculation here. Okay, it's a will be the 3% of your loan amount. That's what it will automatically calculate based on. So if I give you $1,000, I should expect $30 as a monthly payment if you apply that formula. So 3% of the loan amount. That includes, so 60 months, it is for 60 months. So over 60 months, $30 will be paid by the customer in order to repair the car in that scenario. Is everybody clear?
Oh, so basically the like the
predefined calculation.
Okay.
Okay. That is the predefined calculation I'm giving you. 3% of the loan amount that should equal to your monthly payment over 60 months period.
Okay.
Okay. So Don, Sheba, anybody else in the class, based on the information Herschel provided, do you feel the requirement now meets 3C and T? If not, what part is missing?
The interest rate.
The interest rate.
Do you really need an interest?
Nah, because it's already pre-calculated, so we don't need the interest.
Precisely.
So
And
what about-
Herschel just told you the formula of what that pre-calculation is going to be.
So, so I guess right now we want to know if they're approved or not.
Now, do you really need it? When you're doing a loan calculator, do you need an approval?
No.
So
That's why
maybe
we
one
started
point
with the
I-
context, right? This is when a person who wants his car to be fixed or his or her car to be fixed walks in the dealership. Dealer says it's going to cost you X amount of dollars. The person says, I don't have that much. And dealer says, let me see whether you can get a loan or not. How much money that you want to borrow, right?
Yeah,
That's when they will use this calculator to say, it's okay, can you afford 3% of that X amount as a monthly payment to pay it? If so, we can get you a loan application so that you can apply for the loan. Right? Do you understand the whole context now?
So does it like, the down payment, the extra amount?
Is there a down payment mentioned anywhere?
No.
Nah.
So maybe that might be one of the, field missing.
What did I say? First rule in the class as a quality assurance, you don't do what?
You don't make your own requirement.
Don't make up your own requirements. What are you doing? It like it's when you said, hey, do you need a down payment? Or you're trying to make your own requirement. Herschel clearly said that we'll just take whatever the loan amount you wanted, and your monthly payment is going to be 3% of it. Right? So with that information, your requirement is complete. Now, coming back to it, based on that, what is the input that you're going to provide it? What is your input data? Just the amount, right? How much loan I want to take it. Right? So now that you have that piece of information, Rashmita, based on that, what will be the correct data versus the wrong data?
So here, if you here I did that. So put the correct data on predefined calculation using the loan amount required field. So
but what is correct data? You tell me what is correct data. Give me an example.
The loan amount, I think.
What were you saying, Ramya?
And the loan amount, I thought.
Yeah, give me an example. Guys, I'm looking specific example. I'm not looking for the word.
I already gave you guys one example.
30,000.
You need to be very specific. Okay. You need to be very specific.
So Giti, you said 30,000 is one example. Is that,
30,000, yeah.
that's the correct data, right? What is incorrect data then? What is wrong data?
If it will be less than 30,000
Less than or greater
or
than
greater than.
30,000.
Why are you making that call? Where is it saying that it has to be 30,000?
Let's
think,
say
Based off of
predefined, yeah.
Okay, pause onto
Okay,
that thought. Let's
yes,
see anybody else has
Or
drawn
any
any
name.
other tree. Hang on. Let's go one at a time. So you guys understand my question. You guys understood the clarity. I would like somebody else to share their tree. So Rashmita, you can stop sharing it. Anybody else who has a different tree than what Rashmita has shared? Can you share your tree?
Mine is somewhat like that. And I have something like non-numeric amounts plus
Let's show it.
60
Let's
months.
show it. Let's share it.
And it's almost like that.
Okay, let me share then. I'm sharing it now.
Giti. Okay, go ahead.
Mine is hang or something happened. Just a minute here. Mine is also, I'm also stuck into that 60-month thing. So
let's just see it. What do you have?
I think this one, let me check. Is it sharing?
Okay.
I think
Yep, we can see it now. Yep.
Yeah. So I was also into that minds. Valid 60 months. Yeah, less than 60 months.
I would not take out anything around time, right? Because that's not going in the right direction.
Yeah.
Because 60 months is already given fixed time. So anything that you have with that.
Yeah. I had one was no data, that is like can't calculate, and one is non-numeric amount.
But you still have 60 months. What does that
60 months, I was stuck into that. I told, I'm sorry.
Okay. So what do you mean by non-numeric amount?
Non-numeric amount, maybe let's say if somebody, I mean, if you put not the numbers and some, I mean, not
Give me an
the
example. Give me an example. I'm kind of a guy who does much better mindset with an examples.
That means no numbers, like not 20,000 and somebody.
Give me an example.
If somebody will write 20,000, let's say in later. So yeah, so it may not work. It will not work, definitely. It will not work because you have to put numeric value there. It is for 20,000, let's say. So I thought that. And and I was stuck to that 60 months. I don't know now.
That's okay. Let's take out 60 months.
60
Let's
months.
focus on only things without the 60 month in
60
your
months,
trade.
yeah. And another one, I was like, no data. That is like, I heard from you, like if somebody will put no data, then it will not work. So
what do you mean by no data? Walk me through a scenario under when the no data will happen.
No data means, I think you gave example in Amazon order or something like, if somebody will put one data and the next one, if you don't put data, then it will.
Right. So you don't put any amount and you hit calculate, right?
You calculate.
That's a no data scenario.
No data.
Dilip, hang on. I think a couple of folks have some input. Go ahead and Archana, what you are trying to say.
No data means I think any numbers or anything that is not 0 to 9. So you can put like maybe words or maybe any special characters or anything, or
but
don't put anything at all.
Archana, that's same thing as a non-numeric, right?
Right.
If I put a word, I still enter some data. It's not the no data situation.
Okay.
It's just that it's a non-numeric.
Nothing to enter.
Right. Ramya had a question too.
Yes, go ahead, Ramya.
I just want to share the input, like you can finish up the discussion. I can share later.
I have one more actually. The last one I wrote like negative amount. If somebody, loan amount has to be like 20,000, 30,000. So if somebody put negative amount, it should not work.
Like give me an example of negative
like
amount.
minus 20,000, somebody or minus number, something.
Why would that be wrong?
Because loan amount should not be because
you're always going to take some money, right?
Some money.
If you didn't know money, then why even need it?
Yeah, if somebody by mistake put also, it should not take, otherwise the bank, I mean, everybody will have trouble, right? So it should fail. Yeah. So,
all right.
Okay.
That's what
I can see your thought process here. I think you just have additional things, but let's see.
Focus,
you are on the right track though. Okay.
Sorry, yeah, but the 60 month was stuck to
no worries.
That's okay. So go ahead, Ramya. What's your thought?
I think it's so simple. Like the dealer can either can provide estimate of loan based on the amount required, or he cannot provide estimate of loan based on the amount required. Then he either with the can provide estimate of loan based, he can calculate the loan payment as Harshad said, like 3%. And he cannot calculate the loan payment. That's it.
Yeah. So, but Ramya, so if you think about it, right? All you're doing at that point is you're saying it is what is obviously identified in the system requirement. You're not providing specific, right? So when you say I can calculate or I can calculate, right? So when you think about can calculate is, how do I need to validate that it's a right number or not? What will be my right inputs or not, right? So if I put something and I can't calculate, then there is something wrong with the data itself, or there's something wrong with the system, right?
Yeah.
So what scenarios you will do it, which will make it repeatable and predictable is the question.
So let me draw it here for you guys. If you can stop sharing, this is gonna like a first exercise. So let's see if this makes sense to you, everybody here, and we can discuss it. So if you can stop sharing, Gitika. Okay.
No, I think.
Okay, I think that should stop sharing, right? So this is the loan calculation, right?
Now, hang on, Arshal, I think she's still sharing the screen.
Sharing, yes, stop.
Oh, is she?
Yeah,
so
now yeah, I think.
Okay, now Arshal, your
good?
screen is sharing. Yeah, it's good.
Okay, great. Okay, so this is kind of like our requirement here, right? So you need to prove that the loan calculator works, just like any calculator type of functionality that you have, right? So obviously you have to run through certain scenario, and these are the certain scenarios I would think, and I think most of you have you were thinking in that some similar direction. So valid data, invalid data, right? Now, what would be the valid data? Well, what would be considered valid data? Or
the data is gonna be the amount, the amount of
the number, right?
So
yes,
numerical or numerical or valid amount. Let me just put it valid numeric amount, right?
Yes.
Amount that is greater than 0. Okay. So you can do just simply as that. Now, as part of the invalid data now. Okay. So if you are validating, okay, I know I need to input positive loan amount. So valid loan amount basically in there. Now, if you are going the invalid route, what would be your different scenarios here? So it can be either alphanumeric.
Can be alphanumeric.
Okay, so this is alphanumeric. So it can be ABC 1, 2, 3, right? So that's alphanumeric. You can have negative amount.
Yeah, less than 0.
Negative amount, right? Yeah. So you try to say, okay, if it's a negative amount, I should see something like error message or something, right? I shouldn't be able to calculate the payment. And what would be the one more thing here? I think somebody had it the empty or no amount, right?
No,
or empty.
Yeah.
So, but if we say missing requirement.
What do you mean
what
by
is missing requirement?
No data.
Missing data.
No, because
yeah, missing data, not the requirement. Missing data, okay. Right? Data. Which is nothing but empty input or something like that, right? Okay. Empty input. Now, should I be able to enter 0? Maybe it's a valid amount. I don't know, right? So that's the clarification you want to have, and most likely business will say maybe it is okay, so that I could get 0 payment. So I'm just gonna say greater than or equal to 0. Okay, so that will make it more clear here. Okay, so at this point, so I'm doing the loan calculator scenarios. So I can have these are different scenarios with the valid and invalid amounts. I think this is a more straightforward, other than you had a missing requirement for the calculation, right? So now this could become your one test case, right? So this is your first test case. This one can be your second one. This one can be your third one, and this is the fourth one. The way you can write it is loan calculator. When you put it in test summary, when you write the detailed steps, you can say that loan calculator validate that loan calculator works with the valid numeric amount that is greater than or equal to 0. Validate that loan calculator functionality works with the invalid, doesn't basically gives you error message with for invalid alphanumeric values, right? That's just your test scenarios basically, or providing some type of description. What is that you are testing and so forth. Anything else that you guys can think of here other than these 4 scenarios? So it's basically one scenarios, second one, third one, fourth one. I think most of you have right? You are going with the 60 plus, less than 60 plus, obviously less than 60, it is 60, right? That is clarified for the requirement. So you will not have that question anymore. So you got to take out those scenarios. And I think I saw a couple of folks had invalid scenarios with alphanumeric, negative amount, empty amount, and so forth. So these are your high level test scenarios. But basically this becomes your test cases, 4 test cases, okay, here. Now, when you are writing the actual steps here, right? Logically, I'm just gonna show you one here so that it will help you next week, basically. So logically, if I'm testing this one, what would be my steps for logical scenario or logical steps here?
Where would you start first?
It would be first launch browser.
Okay. What
Okay.
will go next?
And so here is what I would suggest, right? Logically, I mean, if you are not clear or struggling, what should go in the steps or something. So let me just quickly hide this floating meeting, right? So you refer back to the design document, right? And this is sometime you will get this type of diagram, sometime you will not, okay? But I'm a dealer user. I know that I am a dealer user who is doing the work. They have to log in, then they will go to the loan calculator, and then they will perform the activities, right? So you guys are identifying 3 things here as part of the context. So who is doing the work as part of the context? You already identified, right? It's a dealer user. The second part was which business process. So we all know that it's a loan calculation, right? And third part is what activities they perform or what are the steps to write the actual detailed test case, right? So here, according to my design document, I'm going to log in as a dealer, okay? When I log in, where do I end up? I'm going to end up on my homepage, okay? This is my homepage when I log in from there. So I need to get to the loan calculator functionality, okay? So that would be, so this would be my first, this would be my second step, say access loan functionality, loan calculator.
So
Okay.
did we skip the login page or not? Or are we gonna come back to that?
You can.
So
right.
Hang on, Don. So let's look at what Herschel wrote it as the first step.
Yeah.
Right? It says login as dealer. Now he's talking about logical, right? You may write 2 steps for that. One is go to the home page, go put that, right? But he's giving you a logical flow of what do you need to do it in order to test that functionality.
Okay.
And how you can come up with these steps, right? I'm not pulling it from the air, right? I'm saying, oh, dealer goes here, login page, everybody has to log in, right? That's the first step that you will have. Second step is, okay, when I log in, I'm going to be on the dealer homepage. From there, I need to get to the loan calculator, right? Because I need to access that functionality. Without that, I cannot perform my activities, right? So I'm saying here, access loan calculator, you can say that, okay, you can click on or whatever you do, right? How do you get there? That will be, you can write it in detail steps, okay? Third step. Now, what would be my third step here? Once I'm on the loan calculator, what would be my logical step here? Can anybody tell me?
Check to see if it's working right.
No, but how do you, so you need to perform some action, right? On the loan calculator page. What would you do? You are remember, you are testing this scenario.
Type of credential.
Putting the loan amount. Putting the loan amount.
You have to put some data.
Okay, so input loan amount, right? Because I'm going to be on the loan calculator. So I'm going to say that input valid loan amount.
Yeah.
And remember, this is somewhere you have to put an action, right? So you enter the loan amount and probably have to click on something which tells system to perform the calculation.
And calculate, right? I'm putting logically, I'll calculate. I don't know how I'm going to do that, but I'm just putting as a logical step. Okay, I need to do some action for calculate, right?
So
now what would be my valid loan amount? You need to be very specific when you are actually writing the actual steps, right? So if I say I'm putting $1,000 here as a valid loan amount, how do I know it's working? My calculator is working. How do I know the calculator functionality is working?
So put the higher value.
No,
I'm just saying $1,000. I don't want to put higher value.
If I take 1,000 loan, what did Herschel said? What is the formula?
The answer should be $300. I'm sorry, $30. Sorry.
Okay, so this your expected steps here, right? Expected. So for every step, you have expected step here, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So this one would be expect that $30 is displayed on screen as a monthly payment. Okay. For first step, you will have expected. Second step, yep, I'm on the loan calculator page. Third one is input valid amount and calculate, right? I'm expecting $30 as a monthly payment based on this formula, 0.03 multiply by $1,000. You have the formula. Without that, you cannot test this, right? We already agreed on that. So if you do that, that will give you $30. So system should always calculate $30, give you output of $30.
Oh.
Okay, and if you get that, and when you execute this scenario when you get the actual system, yep, everything is good, and you can pass the test case at that point, which we'll talk a little bit later what you will do and so forth. Okay, but this is when you write it. This is the process that you have to go through. Is everybody clear?
Yeah.
Okay, so since I gave you this one, I would suggest you write a negative scenario, pick one of that for your homework exercise, right? Because you have to come up with one test case. Obviously, you cannot write the same one, so you need to pick a different scenario out of these 4. Okay, out of these 4 scenarios, test cases, you can pick the negative amount, empty input, or alphanumeric values and see what you expect, right? Okay, any question here? It's not a rocket science. Okay, this thing is more logical. I mean, as the more practice you will do, I think you will get it. Okay, the process wise. Okay, any doubt? If not, we'll move on to the next requirement. Okay, so let's move on to the next requirement here. All right, so this one, let's talk about this guy. So this specific requirement 2.6.1, ability to search lender by lender name.
Who wants to share their tree, or like somebody else other than Geeti and Rashmita to share it?
It's perfectly okay, even if you have it wrong. If you think, let's see it and we will revise it.
Okay, so did you guys talk
Hang
about
on.
we're supposed to show you guys if we didn't write it on the computer?
So what I asked is, yeah, if you create it on piece of paper, you can email yourself, take a picture on your phone and email yourself, and then you can share it from the email account.
Okay.
Okay. So I'm going to stop sharing here. While she's pulling it up, anybody else wants to share? Anybody else created a tree?
I want to do it, but I don't know what I did, but I want to share.
Okay. It's perfectly fine. I mean, if you even if you have it incorrect, which is fine, we'll review it and we'll correct it, right? That's the process
Yeah,
here.
yeah, but I'm looking for it. Where is it?
Okay.
Can I share mine? Like,
yes, go ahead, Judy. Yes.
It's not a tree, but it's got bullet points like what?
Sure. Yeah, that should be fine. Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see what you have. Okay. So Judy, let's start with the requirement context for everybody, like who is doing the work, what business process this requirement comes into play, and basically understanding of the actual requirement.
Okay.
What point this requirement will apply, right?
So this is, you're going to search the lender by name.
Okay. So what would be the business process here, and who is doing the work? Who can do that?
So there are,
who can perform the activity?
Lender is.
There are a few scenarios, like the lender starts it, and also the site administrator can look at.
So you are judging that based on what, Judy? Who can do the work? Who can perform that lender search? That's what I'm asking.
Can say area manager can do.
Hello.
You can perform
yes.
the.
Yep.
Sorry, can you guys repeat it? I think I might have missed it.
Yeah, I was saying like, is it gonna be the area manager? Who's gonna perform
Area manager,
yes.
Can they do lender search?
The dealer will do the lender
Where
search.
would you find all those information? If I have to look through in the document who can do it, where would I find it?
The dealer will be looking for the lender.
Yeah.
Again, are you guessing or are you going based on a requirement?
All the dealer user.
So the reason I'm stressing on the context is you have to understand the context, then only you will be able to break it down further. Basically, who is performing the work, what business process this requirement comes into play. So you can simply look at that, right? I mean, those table, security table or security metrics.
The security
site administrator.
Okay, so site administrator, anybody else can do that? Site administrator will be able to do that. That is correct. Who else? Is there anybody else can do that? Can the dealer do lender search?
The manager.
Area manager.
Area manager, regional manager.
Can they do lender search?
Yes. And a dealer user.
Yeah.
The dealer user.
Okay.
So you said site administrator, dealer user, you said area managers.
Yeah.
I'm double checking it. So
No, only site
Security.
administrator.
only site administrator, right? Because I don't see anybody else can do the this thing. Now you need to understand when this requirement will come into play, right? Or what business process is tied to. Then only you can decide who can really perform this thing as well. So site administrator certainly can do that.
So let's talk around the context. What is the need for me to search a lender name? Why would somebody search on something?
So when the dealer is ready with the credit application, then the lender come to the story.
Okay. Is that the only time?
No,
you guys
when the lender
realize
want to
it?
be a part of the Arfloan application, if the lender want to be, a part of the.
Right. So it is similar to what we talked about in the class around dealer can be searched by name and address, right? So the same context, right? I'm a lender who's getting signed up to provide the loans within this system, or I want to receive the application coming out from the system. Therefore, I'm going to sign up for it, right? So that's one context where you would search as a site administrator, like lender by its name, right? Everybody with me? Yes, no, quiet?
Yes.
I can't interpret. Quiet means do you guys
No, can
are
you
on the
please
same page or
explain?
you are in a different
Can you
page?
please explain it again?
Okay, there's a whole bunch of quiet people. Can anybody explain, Daisy, what is the context now? Come on, you guys didn't say anything, so you must be understood the context.
So the context is that the site administrator want to search the lender. So why he want to search the lender? Or sorry, yes, why he want to search the lender? And he is searching the lender because he want to, if he is not present in the system, he's going to add him. Okay. And before that, yeah.
So Daisy, does that help as a context? Okay. So now that we have this context, are we ready to review the requirement and figure it out what test cases I need to do it?
So go ahead and Judy, share your screen now. Hopefully that clarifies the context for everybody.
Judy, you are on mute.
Not able to share it or something.
Okay.
Do you want me to share mine?
Yes, go ahead. Yeah.
Okay.
While Judy is figuring out.
Share.
Okay.
Okay. So that's how I had mine.
Okay.
Am I sharing?
Yes. Yep. Yeah. Go ahead and zoom in a little bit for us, so that way. Oh, you did. Okay.
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay.
Arshil, looks like your connection is lagging. You might want to turn off your video.
Yeah, maybe
So
I'll do
the audio will probably be much better. Yeah. All right. So Shiba, walk us through it.
So when I was reading this, I thought that, all you needed was the lender name, because it says to search lender by lender name. So I thought it was just going to be the super users, the people who are able to access the lender, to search up the lender name. So I just thought if you cannot get the full name, then you won't be able to search it up by the lender name. And I thought if you had if you can, maybe it'll tell you if you can search it up by the partial name of the lender or by the full name of the lender. And that's how I basically got it. I didn't know how else to like make the tree except for this. Like you can search it by the full name and you can search it by the partial name, or that you just can't not search it by the full name or cannot search it by the full name. Maybe the error on it.
So help me understand, right? So for a moment, let's keep the partial name segment aside, right? We'll talk about it later, right? But let's focus on the full name. So for the full name, you have two paths: can search and cannot search. Tell me what things you will do it different to test those two scenarios.
Okay, so maybe we can put the first name first, and then the last name, or maybe switch it around. Is that
okay? Hold on here. There. So who is lender? What are we talking here? Is it a lender? Is a person? Is it a company? What are we talking? When you say first name and last name, right?
Oh, it's the company.
Right. So there is no first name and last name.
Yeah.
Because it's a company like Chase. Chase could be a lender in the system, right? They will not have first name or last name. It's just a lender name for them.
Okay. So given that example, right? Tell me what will be the difference between your can search lender by Chase or cannot search lender by Chase. Tell me how we would go about doing things differently to qualify those two as a separate test cases.
So I am thinking that we do not have Chase in our system, and we do have Chase in our system.
Okay.
Maybe for them
so
to be able to
hang on. So what you're saying to me is I put the name Chase and I search it, right? And when I get the search results, you're saying that my test cases are different based on the search response or result. I don't know what will be the state of the system will be, right? So when you think about, and Giti, I'll come back to you. I know you and Ramya have questions, but when you are searching it, you don't know whether not even in the test scenario, right? In a real life, when you're trying to search for something, you don't know whether they exist or not. That's the whole reason why you're searching, right? So if I search for a Chase and I don't find it, doesn't it tell me automatically that the lender doesn't exist in my system? Right? So the output and the conclusion of one test case automatically tells me or validates the second one, right? So I can't keep it separate. Right?
So the failure of the search by
the failure of one will automatically provide an existence or presence of the other one, right? So think around that. Giti, what was your question?
Yeah, I was saying the same thing. Like I remember you told, like, if partially also, if we search, we'll get positive result, and if we search complete also. I mean, I was also stuck in that partial and complete name, but I remember you telling, like, if we give half name also, we'll get the positive test. I mean, it will be a success whether we search partially or completely the name. That's what I. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So you started talking about the partial one, but like it's hang on to that discussion. We are not there yet on partial. We're just talking about the full name stuff. Ramya, what's your question?
No, I just want to share my test tree.
Hang on to that for a moment.
Yeah. Okay, no problem.
Okay. So I understand, Shiba, that the two that you have separate, can and cannot, it's essentially absence of one is automatically valid. It's the presence of the other one, right? So they are one and same test cases. Now let's go to the other segment where you put the partial name and a full name, right?
Okay.
So going by Herschel's example, if I search it by saying the quote Chase, I don't know whether it's a full name or not, right? It could be JP Morgan Chase, could be the full name, right?
Yeah.
So depending on how I enter it into the system, they are one and same. If I search it, if I put search, let's say by word Chase, and if I put it a JP Morgan Chase as a one entry, and I just put only Chase as the other entry, it'll still return me both the results, right? So whether I do it full name search or partial name search, that goes back to the requirement, right? Nobody asks a user a question. When you say it's a search by lender name, do you want a partial name search? Do you want a full name search? And more importantly, when you say it's a partial name search, is it something that starts with it, or it's something that has to be present somewhere in the search string, right? Depending on that, I may have different test cases and results, right?
Yes.
Okay, so hang on to that. Judy, you had a question.
Yeah. What about search by email? Because in the
Okay, let's go back. I'm going to pause you there because I don't want to go in the wrong thread. What is the requirement say?
Ability to.
And the moment you put it the email, is it something you are adding as a new requirement?
Yeah.
And what I'm telling you, first thing you should never do.
Okay, got it.
Right.
I got confused by the system design where email was a required field under lender.
Those are requirement fields. It's different versus that, right? So that's a creation component.
Okay.
This is a search component.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Shiba, so you good? What I was pointing it out?
Definitely.
You can make those calls till you ask your user, what do you mean by search by lender name? Is it a complete requirement? Right.
So when I was basically doing all of these, I didn't really, I can say on my part, I should have probably used the 3 C's and the T and searched it up that way. But I think I was trying to like fit it because I thought it was all, they were all like full.
Never assume that.
Okay. You will end up creating so many bugs, or user might create so many bugs if you assume certain things. So it's better to clarify. You are not adding requirement here, but you are just trying to clarify so that you can test properly.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So Herschel, can you share with us that when you wrote the requirement as a user, are you expecting system to function where there is always a full name, or can it, as long as it matches whatever you provide in the name, you want the response?
Yes, that's how, I mean, typically the folks will search it. They may not have the full name. Sometimes they have like a dots and commas in the name, so they may not be able to type the full name, but it should find it. Yeah.
So when I find partial match, do you anticipate that I will find only the ones that start with that string, or as long as it's anywhere in the string, you want us to return the response?
Yeah, it needs to be anywhere, so that will, they don't have to search it multiple times for the same lender. Yep.
All right. So did everybody understand the clarity that Herschel provided on that requirement?
Yes.
All right.
Okay, so I think Seba, you were on the right track. It's just that you had a duplicate test case, but it's perfectly fine if you have it for now. I mean, as you work through more test cases, you will realize, I mean, and you will start eliminating those.
Right.
So, but as Dilip explained you the reasoning, right? Why you don't need that. So
yeah. So one other thing that you need to think about in 3C and T is what happens if there are 1,000 lenders in the system, and then you don't provide a name? Are you expected to return all the 1,000, or what are you expecting? What's your understanding of the requirement? If I do not provide any lender name, what should I get my result set back?
Unique ID.
I didn't provide anything. So
Yeah, no blank.
There should be
Blank
so
data.
many lenders name.
okay, so you are putting now
Yeah.
a question that you need to get a little bit more clarity around it in order to understand it, right? Because I'm hearing a different answer. I'm hearing somebody saying that, hey, it is required versus somebody says, don't return anything. Somebody else might be saying return all the 1,000. So now there is no clarity in terms of understanding of that requirement. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has the same question in their mind, like what I have. Man, this crowd is quiet tonight. I don't know what's going on. I can't figure it out.
No, without putting any name, we'll not get any result, right? That failure.
Now you're assuming, but
now you're making up requirement now.
Again, it is better to clarify with the user. Sometimes it could be the technical reasons, okay? Because there could be millions of records in the system, and if you don't put anything, they will have to show the error message, or they might just limit the records to maybe 100 in any search if you don't put something. Those are some of the discussion. Either you can clarify with the business, or within the technical team, they might have their own standards for the searches.
So most of the time, we're gonna have to always go back to go back to the business analyst to get more information.
Yes, so you discuss. I mean, for empty searches, right? That you probably want to discuss with the technical team as well first, because that's a common scenario. You have to test it regardless. Now, what is you expect? That's the discussion you want to have with your technical team first. See if they are limiting or restricting or doing something. They might go back to the business as well at that point, including the business analyst.
Yeah.
Okay. So like, how often do we go back? Like,
well, that's why you should understand all the sets of requirement, right? And then flag it so you don't have to go back and forth 50 times.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Now, in case of Agile, your set will be a lot more smaller that they give you, right? So it's much more easier to go through it. In the waterfall, you have the entire document, and you should flag everything that you wanted in the document and go section by section, just like what I was asking all of you question when you were reviewing it. Do you have any question in section 1? Right? You can say, you can list it out. Here are all the questions I have in section 1, user. Can you help me understand it? Right? So let's go to Herschel. And Herschel, so in the scenario that the user does not provide any name and try to search it, what your anticipation for the system behavior is?
I would say show the error message. Please enter at least one criteria, or at least enter something in the search field in the lender name field. So,
okay. So that, if you guys think about it, right, that adds another test case, right? You just now you have to test it. What if they don't provide any data and click on search? Does it give the error message or no? Right? So Shiba, like it's while you had it, right? You have to just fine tune your test scenarios now to address that situation also.
okay. So this particular requirement could potentially have 3 test cases, right? And I think it's very straightforward. Hopefully you guys can knock that out, complete the tree, and work through the actual test case details later on. Okay, and we'll spend quite a bit of time on the test case as well. So I want to make sure you guys get through the test scenarios first. Can understand that.
So let's pick up the pace, right? We've gone through 2, and it's hour plus. So what is the third requirement?
Yep, I'm going to set it here. Let's see. So I think, give me a second. Can you guys see my screen?
Yep.
Okay. All right, so let's start with the simple one. So I'm going to start with the 2.3 here. or 2.2 or 2.3. Let's start with 2.2. Has anybody completed 2.2? Anybody like to share?
Yes, but
Okay, go ahead, Sapna.
yeah, but I don't know how to share. I just did my picture, but give me some time. I'll share.
Okay, no worries. Anybody else wrote the tree?
Yes, I did. So
Okay, hang on, Sasmita. Let's see if anybody else did it as well. If not, then I'll let you share.
I did mine. Let me try to share.
Okay, go ahead, Bonaventure. Are you sharing, Bonaventure?
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Okay. Just click on share screen and there is a black screen you will see. Just click on that and click share. So it will share your desktop or laptop.
Okay.
Yep, it's coming.
It's not that one of them.
Okay. So go to the one that we are talking about. Okay, hang on. I think I found your email. Okay, so let me go and share my screen.
Okay.
Because you sent me in the email, so I can share that. Okay, so we are talking about requirement 2.2 here, right? So explain the context of this requirement first before we actually go here, right? So I'm going to flip back here. This is the 2.2, right? So explain the context, when this requirement will come into play and who will be doing the work, who is the actor.
Okay, so that scenario, who's gonna do the work is gonna be the render, because
okay,
the dealer is gonna send the credit application to the render.
Okay.
And then the render have ability to change the status for the credit application.
Okay.
So either it's gonna be approved or it's gonna be rejected by the render.
Okay. Okay. So lender, so dealer will trigger the process, right? So
Yes.
it's a credit application flow that you have, and when the lender receives the application, this requirement says he can only approve or reject the credit application by
Yes.
changing the status, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And after that, as soon as the render approves the application, the dealer user is gonna receive the email notification.
Okay.
Or
yeah, so that completes the flow, right? And then dealer can do whatever he needs to do, right?
Yes.
But I think the context is clear to me what you explained. Does anybody has any question? Is anybody not clear on the context here? Okay. All right. So now we can flip back to your tree here. No, I think it's just here. Let me hide this one. Okay. So go ahead. So with that context in mind, what is that you need to test? Let's see. And what would be your scenarios?
I was going to render status changing, and then he send notification, and then he approve it. As soon as he approve it, it's gonna get the dealer user is gonna receive the email notification.
Okay. So that's the one flow here, right? This is the one flow that you are saying here. Now, why are you testing the email notification? Or should you just stop at approved, right? Because that's all he can do. That would be the end of your requirement here.
Oh, okay.
Right? Okay. So email notification, that happens later on. I mean, so you shouldn't be putting that on your scenario.
Okay.
Right. Okay. So that's one part you are changing. Okay. One scenario. Then second scenario is, looks like you have the same thing rejected here.
Yes.
Right. And I would get rid of the email notification part here. Okay. Because that's really not part of what are you testing, right? You are validating the requirement that they can approve or reject, right? So
yes.
anything happens afterwards, that's a separate test case or separate scenario over there.
Okay.
Okay, why do you, what is this path? Can you
Okay.
explain a little bit on that?
So the render is enabled to change the status for credit application. So that means he's gonna approve.
So think about it, if I'm not able to change the status, can I even change it to approve? And should the system even try to send me an email notification if I'm not able to do anything?
I think I make a mistake with that. I got now. So
right, if this scenarios fail here, status changing and approved, that will automatically trigger the unable to change the status. I mean, right? I mean, it's kind of like what we discussed with Siba earlier, right?
Okay.
These are, you don't need this negative
So
scenarios.
I don't need to put approved, rejected, or those ones.
Right, the one on the right-hand side.
Yes.
That's not gonna happen, right? There's no scenario of that.
Okay.
The other question I have it. So you guys put it the status changing from approved to like it's something to approve or something to reject it, email notification. Now, I have a question. Should you, if something was in the rejected status, can I change it to approved or vice versa?
No, because you already changed the data and then you reject it. So that means that's why the data user is gonna receive the email, and then they're gonna say that you rejected the credit application.
So do you think you need to test that scenario?
Yes, because either one, because when you look at the requirement, they're saying like the lender have ability to approve or reject the credit application. So I think that we can fix that kind of a scenario.
So how are you going to go test about it? So is your application should be in certain status before you can do an approve or rejection?
This might be some pending status.
In process. In process.
You guys are not sure.
Or read only.
All right. So good, we are guessing. The question is, should we guess or should we have requirements? So Pankaja, you have your hand raised.
Yeah, I have a tree, like I made a, I will share that. So.
Okay, yeah, Boravancha, I think go ahead and stop sharing. Oh, actually, it's me.
Harshal, I think you are sharing it.
Yeah, I'm the one sharing. Okay, gotcha.
All right. Go ahead, Pankaja, share your screen.
One second.
You see the share screen button right at the bottom?
Yeah.
Okay, just click on it. Okay, and then click leave whatever screen is selected. I think you should see a black screen and click on share. There should be a share button right bottom corner.
Should share the whole desktop once you do it that way.
Can you see it now?
No, we cannot. Yeah. I don't think you said anything. So you need to click on share. Once you select the screen, there is a share
There's
button.
window will pop up when you click
Yeah.
on the share screen green arrow at the bottom. And once you click on that, whatever the window comes up, you just click, there should be an OK button there. If you click
Or share
OK
button.
button, it will, or share button, it'll do that.
Yeah, but okay, I can explain with my mouth. Just I have a lender on the top. After once the lender login, he can see the pending application. From there, I have two branches like approve or reject. That's how I create.
So what if the application is not in the pending state?
So it's either maybe approved or rejected.
Insufficient data, maybe. Yeah, we need some more data, and then.
So when you say insufficient data, what do you mean by that?
I mean, sometimes if you apply for a credit card, they reject sometime, and then again they approve. So
it's not random, okay?
Yeah. So think of a scenario. Think of a scenario, okay?
Yeah. So in this place,
So
I mean,
I'm going to walk you through a scenario, and you guys tell me whether it's a good or not scenario.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's say it's a lender came in and approved the application. Okay, send a notification.
Yes.
A day later, he logs in. Should he be able to change that approved status to rejected status?
No.
Why not? Why not? Why not?
Because in also in
hang on, one person at a time. So Giti, why should he not be able to change it?
I mean, in the document, I think we had we went through that the dealer cannot.
It's not about dealer. I'm still saying I'm the same lender guy who logged in again the next day, and I change it from approved to rejected. Why can't I do that? Yeah, Pankaj, I understood that what you're saying. My question is, what happens if the application was in approved status and I change it to rejected? Right? Because my requirement says lender should be able to approve or reject using changing the status.
Yeah.
He already approved it because of that his credit history and all those. Then why he will reject it again? If everything is
hey, look,
everything.
All I'm just saying is, can I do something in the system to break the system or not? That's all I'm looking for.
No,
if it's already approved, how can he do the reject again?
Is that a requirement, or you're making an assumption?
No, it was written. I'm not very sure, but I read. I think that
where
the lender cannot modify the application.
Modify the application. Yeah, in the document.
We have a requirement.
Well, that's a different requirement.
This is in system design document. We have a page. Which page? This is page number 8.
Can you show it to me? So, Pankaj, if you can stop sharing. You guys tell Harshal whatever page number you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm talking about page 8.
Okay.
System design document.
Okay, give me a second. Okay, I have that document open. So give me a second. System design. You said page number 8.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Where does it say?
This is page number 8. Unless he's referring to the.
See, lender user can view, update only their credit application. So that means
but you're missing the point. You're missing the point. I'm the lender. Application was assigned to me. I logged in today, approved it. I come back tomorrow, and it says, I should not have approved it. I go back and rejected the same application. It's still my application. So how does this requirement tell me that I can't do it?
This is a different.
This is not the requirement. This is not the requirement. This is authorization security role. You know, where we can get to know who are the user and what are
but Sashmita, you're missing the point. The application is still assigned to me. I'm still the lender for it. So read the requirement 2.2. What does it say? Lender can only approve or reject credit application by changing the status. Isn't that what you're testing?
Mm-hmm.
I want to reject it. See, when you're thinking about testing the system, you need to think about what are the possibilities the user can do it, and are those valid possibilities that you should test or not. Just because you said that, hey, they should not do it, does that mean system is going to prevent them? If so, why that's not in the requirement? Right?
Mm-hmm.
So you should ask user question, once a lender approves or rejects, can they do anything with that application?
And as a user, I will say, no, they should not be able to do anything for the application.
So the way that boils down what Harshal told me, that requirement 2.2, the way it's written, it's not meeting 3 CNT criteria. It requires additional detail, which says that once the application is approved or rejected, the lender cannot change anything. Right? So you need to understand in what state the requirement should be in order to change it. And if this requirement is in any other state, should I be able to do something with it or not? Yes, Pankaja. You had your hand raised.
I think that is before only now.
Okay. So you can, there is a lower your hand option, but you can do that once.
Okay.
You know, get that. Nitin, you had a question.
Yes, sir. I have a question. Actually, the thing is, you said it should be like if you change your mind after one day, that first day you approve. After the second day, you said you don't want to approve because you feel that it is not safe, and you want to reject that application. But in that requirement, they are mentioning that lender cannot modify application data.
Again, is status an application data?
Yeah, it is requirement status, yes.
Then do you think that the requirement number 2.2 contradicts requirement 2.3?
Yes, it is.
Now read carefully. One is application data, another one is application status. Those two are two different things.
Yes, you are right. I missed that particular thing. So the application data is different. I understand. So you can still change that application rejection or approve status.
So think about what is the implication, right? So Herschel clearly said that once it's in approved or rejected status, you cannot change it. The reason is if I approve it, system sends notification to the dealer, dealer goes ahead and fixes the car. The next day you come in and you reject it. Where does dealer going to get the money from? He already fixed the car, assuming you're going to give the money.
I think it's a glitch. So it should be clarified through the BA.
You lost me, Nitin. I didn't understand your comment.
No, but no, Nitin is saying, I think I understood what he said. It's a glitch, and so it needs to be clarified. I mean, it's a glitch, meaning the requirement has
It's not clear.
is not complete. Yeah.
So
Yes,
that's
sir.
what you guys should ask it, right?
Yes, sir.
So you need to think about it. So if that is the case, right? So under what state I can change it, right? So you think about drawing the tree, right? If the application, let's say, whenever dealer creates and submits it, it's in a pending status, right? Or submitted. Like you need to get that clarity first. But let's assume that it's always in the pending state once it's submitted. then you need to think about it is that one path from a pending state is to go and do an approval, right? And the other path is rejection. So your application could be in one of the three states, pending, approved, or rejected. If it is pending, you should be able to either approve or reject it. Okay. If it is an approved or rejected state already, you should not be able to do anything. Right?
Right? Same thing.
Right. So if you think about, right, so there is 4 test cases or leaves that you need to think about testing it. It is in pending and I'm trying to change it to approve. It is in pending and I'm trying to do a rejection. It is in approved stat and I should not be able to do anything with it. It is in the rejected status and I should not be able to do anything. So those are your 4 test cases in your tree. Okay.
Any
Everybody
question?
clear?
Somebody is trying to say something.
This is the perfectly fine, sir. I understood that thing.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right.
All right. Let's go to the next requirement.
So as you guys see, right? I mean, these scenarios are not complex, right? You have one requirement, one liner. Sometime in the agile world, they are called user stories. Whatever information they provide you, you need to break it down something similar way, basically. The requirements are requirements. You need to look it into specific context, basically. Business process, who is doing the work, and then understand the requirement and start breaking it down further. Okay, so let's talk about this one, 2.3. Let's see who has that completed. Anybody? I thought everybody should have this one completed.
Simple. It's like lender. He cannot modify, can modify. That's it.
Go ahead and share your screen so that we can discuss.
I didn't write anything, but
I didn't do anything about this one. Sorry.
Okay.
That is how the scenario is like.
Well, let's see. Anybody did it because we do want to see it.
I did it.
Yes, go ahead and share it, Pankaja.
Okay, one second. Can you see it now?
Yes, it's showing up here.
Yeah. What my understanding is,
okay,
when the lender log in and see the application, if he can change any of the field, or he can only change the status of the credit application, or
now status is a different, right? It's a different requirement. So you need to focus on
only
that
field.
specific one. Can they change anything or not, right?
Okay.
So let's talk about that. See what you have in it for that.
Yeah. This is, can I change any field or cannot change anything?
Okay. Can I change one field, that status? Okay. So you combine these two, right? But as I said, I mean, leave the status one out, or you can leave it there. I mean, let's see if it makes sense to keep it, right?
Okay. So Pankaja, you have 2 paths, right? Negative scenario is, can I change any field?
Yes.
And positive is, I can't change anything. Isn't the failure of negative scenario is exactly same as what you have at the right side, the positive scenario? So if I log into the system and I try to change something, which is a negative scenario, if I'm able to do it, that by default, it says that I'm able to change things. So that's a failure of positive scenario, right? Which says I can't change anything. And if I go into negative scenarios and I'm not able to change anything, isn't that the output of the success of positive scenario?
Yeah, that's what.
So that will be redundant, right? The way you have laid out the positive and negative scenarios, they are redundant.
Okay.
Now you have one more scenario. Can I change one field that status, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you need that scenario because that's something.
Because why you added lender is the one who can approve or reject the.
That's
so,
okay, right?
Yeah.
So depending on how you classify the data for the application, you can have that scenario and says that is an exception because there is another requirement that supports it.
Okay.
Yep.
I've written something. Can I say?
Is
Sure,
there
but
anything different, Geeti?
Yeah, I wrote like I focus on data. Like it is written
Sure.
like lender cannot modify data. So
Okay.
what I did, one is like
Go ahead and share your screen.
screen. Actually, that one I've written in my
Oh, okay.
yeah,
Okay.
notebook. Yeah, I think I've taken the copy. So
Yeah.
what
Yep.
I did is three things. One is we will put the accurate data and it will work. And one I'll check with like changing the data and it will fail. And one is like no data, so it will fail. That's what I thought.
No,
Yeah.
so again, when you say you're not searching, right? Or you're not entering anything. So there is nothing a scenario called no data.
Okay, so modified data. So I thought about data. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Right. So either you have ability to modify something or you don't have ability to modify something.
Yeah, sometimes we tend to overthink, right? On certain things,
Yeah.
life is that simple, right? I mean, sometimes it can be just as simple as that. Can I do something, or can I can't do anything, right? So,
okay. So to me is don't assume everything will have positive, negative, and no data scenario.
Right.
Yeah.
Think in the context, right?
Yeah.
That context here is lender already has an application, and it's about whether I can change that data or not.
Yeah.
Nitin, you had your hand raised up.
I have one question. I think there is the only two scenarios possible, which is like can I change, can I modify application data, or I'm not able to change. So basically there is no other scenario as per me. I don't know I'm right or wrong, but as per me, only two scenario possible is there.
Again, so it's great that you have two scenarios, right? But are they redundant? That's a question I have for you. Because isn't the failure of one scenario talks about the presence of the second one?
Okay, I think
you have to
as per
think
me,
also about it. Is it redundant or not?
I think yes.
If it's redundant, remember the behavior of a good or characteristic of a good test, it's not redundant. So you have literally, you have only one scenario, unless you consider the status as the other aspect, as Herschel pointed out, and that's your second scenario.
Okay.
That I can only change the status, but nothing else.
Understood.
Okay. Rashmita, you have a question?
Yeah, I have done this one in a different way. I don't know if it's correct or not. Can I share this one?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay.
This is a different requirement, right, Rashmita? What you are showing? Oh, okay.
Yeah. So here I did like a lender check the application if it is incomplete. Incomplete.
Define incomplete for me.
Incomplete means some of the data are missing, kind of, or some wrongly put, kind of thing.
So do you think if a dealer is able to submit the wrong incomplete applications to lender, that's what you are assuming here, I think, when you have incomplete, right?
Yeah, some kind of data is missing. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so here's the question.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say if I'm a dealer, I submit application for a customer without putting their social security number. Do you expect that the bank will go ahead and update it and put my social security number? Bank never met me, right?
Yeah.
So does it even make sense for me to submit an application which is not complete?
No.
And should lender even entertain any application which is not complete?
No.
Okay. So to me, that scenario, it's not an applicable in this particular context of the requirement.
Okay, got it.
The incomplete data branch that you have will go away. So you will be left with the complete data. But then what you are testing is, can they modify anything, right? Once the lender has the application. So you need to have those two incomplete data one, like can modify, you need to verify under complete data. I don't see anything under complete data for those two type of scenario.
Okay.
Because only if it's complete, then only they will receive the application, lender. And that's where you need to have, can they modify anything? Can they do anything? Accept status, basically.
And as Harshal said, keep things simple, right? So this requirement is as simple as when I log in as a lender and I'm pulling up an application, can I change anything on the application or not? It's as simple as that. If I can, then the requirement is not implemented properly. And if I cannot, then the requirement is implemented properly and the working is expected. Right?
Okay.
There is nothing else.
Got it.
Yep.
Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Let's go look at the last requirement.
Yep. Let me go and share my screen here.
Okay.
Oh, we had actually two. Okay. No, I think this
no.
is
Well,
okay.
this is So 2.1 is the final requirement, right? So we did the 2.2 and 2.3. So 2.1, lender can only access the credit application assigned to them. So can you, who has the tree for this one?
Me, Sashmita.
All right, great.
Go ahead.
You are the brave
Sashmita.
one. Let's go ahead and share that.
I don't know whether it is right or wrong.
That's okay.
That's fine. That's fine.
What it matters is you put in effort. So let's talk through it, whether it's right or not.
Are you able to see my screen now?
Yes, we can see it.
So can you walk me through it? Help me understand when you say it's when needed.
Okay, when this is needed by the lender. So why,
okay, you're talking about the context. Okay, I see it.
Yes. So when the lender want to see the credit application assigned to them for reviewing or approving or rejecting.
Okay, that's a good context.
Yeah. So I made the tree like he can assign application, access assigned application, and he cannot. He can when he is an authorized lender, when a dealer submit an application, when an email notification comes to that lender. Then I have to make two more branches like reject or approve, which I miss.
Why would you need to do that, right? Because the requirement says lender, you are checking the accessibility of the application for lender, right? So what else they can do, it's a different requirements. Okay, so you should not be testing those here.
Yeah, you stop only as, you focus only in the scope of the requirement, right? And the scope is, as a lender, can I access my credit application or not? Right? Now, help me understand. When you guys, I say it's, I can access only credit application assigned to me. What is this context is coming from? I know you mentioned is, hey, when lender wants to see the credit application assigned to them, but how do I know if something is assigned to me or not?
When an email notification comes to me.
What if the email server was down? How do I know?
When I log in, when the
Okay. Let me ask the question the other way.
Mhm.
Who assigns the application to lender?
The dealer.
Dealer. When do they assign it?
When somebody
When it's
applies for
submitted.
When there's a
application.
credit application.
It is part of the credit application data, right? So if you look into the requirement, it says when a dealer creates a credit application, one of the required field is the lender. It needs to go assign to it, right?
Yes.
So a dealer comes and assigns me, right? And the expectation, this one is I should be able to see it, right? So what are the test scenarios I need to think about it now? When you say it can access a assigned application, and then there is another tree which says I can't access the assigned application. Tell me, how would I set up the scenario?
If the lender can access, it should display the credit application.
Right.
Think,
But how do I know that one, the one I'm seeing, it is assigned to me?
Status shows as pending.
No, it has nothing to do with the status, right? Because we said status could be anything. Remember, the question here is, let's say if there are two lenders in the system, let's pretend I'm one lender and Herschel is another lender. And when a dealer creates an application and that dealer assigns that application to Herschel, should I be able to see that application?
No.
No.
Right. So you guys all understand which the requirement says I can access only the assigned to me.
Yeah.
So how are you proving? Because remember, your job is to prove it that I can see everything that is assigned to me. Right? How do I know if there is nothing out there that is assigned to me that I am not able to see it?
If I cannot access, there will be error displaying the credit application.
Why would there be any error?
Why would it be an
I think
error?
you are going on a little bit wrong track.
So I think when is your credit application is assigned to another lender?
No. So the whole point is, if I log in as a lender, and if something was assigned to me, how do I know that it's assigned to me? So let me ask the question in a different way. I think it's, so think about it, right? A dealer assigns me two applications, right? I'm a lender in the system. He assigns me two applications.
Yes.
How do I know that there are two applications in the system assigned to me?
I feel like you would know it's assigned to you because it's what you see on your screen. You wouldn't see
Okay,
anybody
how do
else's.
I know for sure it's showing, what's showing in my screen is everything that is assigned to me?
It'll probably have your name under it, as in like the certain lender.
I can open the application, like, I can see the application where my my name or something like that will be there.
I think they mentioned the lender name.
Lender name will be there.
You all are assuming the system is implemented perfectly, right?
Yeah, you as a QA, you need to prove that you are able to access applications that are only assigned to you. Okay, so you need to think it through on how you are going to prove that as part of your scenarios. So in order to prove that, how many lenders would you need for your scenarios?
So then,
two lenders maybe.
No, what do you mean by maybe? Hang on, Harshal. Giti, when you say maybe, right, it reminds me of my kids. What maybe? What does that mean?
Sorry, I mean, I can't explain right now, but if there is another
Maybe,
lender, and
anytime you say a word maybe, and you're a quality assurance person trying to test it, you can never rely on that result, right?
Yeah.
More than one is the right answer.
When you say Nitin, more than one,
yes, sir.
How many?
What's the minimum number?
Minimum is 2.
Two
Minimum
minimum.
is
Okay.
Why only 2?
Because then with the 2, you can differentiate between what's yours and what's for
Who
somebody
can
else.
access and who cannot access.
Good. You guys are on try track now.
Yeah.
How many credit applications I need?
2 at least.
2 at least.
Yeah.
It should be 1 or more than 1. It should be 1 or more than 1.
How come 2? Is there 2 applications in the system and 2 lenders? Can I prove this requirement?
What else is needed? So I have 2 applications and 2 lenders. What do I need in order to prove this thing, right?
2 lenders' name.
When you say 2 lenders' name, do you mean on the application?
What about the dealers' names?
Does it matter?
No, dealer's name doesn't.
The requirement is about lender, right? So lender can only access credit applications assigned to them.
No, sir, I might be wrong, but what I thought that if a credit application assigned to somebody else, another lender, and if I am able to see that, let's say if something is assigned to Rashmita, and if I am able to see, that means the test should be failed. I mean, it's a wrong. Yeah,
Great.
that's what. Yeah.
Great. But how do I know that there is something assigned to Rashmita?
Yeah, how to prove
If
that?
there was nothing assigned to Rashmita,
Yeah.
and if it doesn't show up, does that mean system is working perfectly?
No, we have to prove.
So how do you go prove?
Yeah, that I'm thinking.
I think we need 1 dealer, 2 lender applications with different name, so we can test that particular
Okay, so
requirement.
So Nitin, let's pull the thread that you're talking. I needed 2 lenders and 2 applications. What is the scenario?
No,
Each lender.
One dealer and 2 different.
Okay, let me say it very clearly. Dealer here doesn't matter because the scope we are talking about is lender.
Okay, so I think only 2 dealer will be enough. I think.
Okay. We're not talking
two
about
lenders.
dealers.
Sorry. 2 lenders.
Okay, 2 lenders. How many applications?
2 applications.
One application.
One
could-
application.
Yeah, one.
Okay.
Yeah,
So-
1 application will be fine too, I think.
Okay, so
Or 2 application. Yeah, I think
hang on.
1 or more than 1. I think 1 or more than 1. It should be 1 or more than 1 applications.
No, only
Okay,
one.
okay, hold on.
So you guys are all over the place. 1 is
No,
what
no,
I'm
no.
heard it. Then I'm also heard more than 1. And then I heard it 1 or more than 1. Those are 3 different conditions, right?
Can I change my statement? 2 lenders, two application with 2 different lenders, lender 1 and lender 2.
So lender 1 has 1 application, lender
Yes,
2 has 1 application. That's
Yes,
the
sir.
scenario, right?
Yes, sir.
Is that sufficient condition?
I think so.
So you guys are saying lender 1, he has
One app.
one credit app, right?
Okay.
All right, I think, hang on. I gotta
That's
go back.
fine. Herschel, 1C is fine. You can just say
1C,
L2,
okay.
L2 and 2C.
Yeah, this one has some issue. Okay, give me a moment.
Okay, I think it's yeah.
You'll score and share it again.
So
With
when you guys talk about 1 lender, 1 credit application, lender 2, another credit application, how do I know as a lender I can see more than 1 application which is assigned to me?
So that should be 1 for approve, another 1 for reject.
There is no, remember, status doesn't matter. It's all about assigned to me.
Can access, cannot access. Say one application and the lender can access or lender cannot access. That's it.
One is sufficient. We should not go for more.
okay, so here, right? Well, this is what we have, right? And let's say there is a lender 3, and he does not have any credit applications, right? So if I go in the system, what we need to prove is I can see only one C and I cannot see this one or this one for L1 lender. Right? Same thing, same thing. If I log in as L2, I can see only one C that is assigned to me. I cannot see this one, or I cannot, well, there's nothing there, so they will not see. But if I log in as L3, I should not be able to see anything. I should not be able to see this one, or I should not be able to see this one either.
Okay. Now, what if there are more than one application assigned to me? Do you guarantee it that the system is working? What if the system is kind of, they messed up and they are showing only one application for every lender?
Yep.
How do I prove that bug?
So L1 has 2 credit applications. They should be able to see both. They should not be able to see this one or this one.
Yeah.
Those are the boundary conditions, guys. Remember, think about it. What I was talking about, you need to think around boundary condition. So there's going to be one or more than one, 2 different scenarios, right? So when I have 2 versus 3, they both fall under more than one. Agree?
Yeah.
If I have a 1, that falls under 0 or more scenario, but it doesn't fall under more than one scenario. So the question comes in, do I have to test for more than one scenario? In this case, yes, because it's a boundary condition. How do I know if there are more than one assigned to me? I can see all of them. Because the requirement is I should be able to see all the application that is assigned to me. So I need to know when there is nothing assigned to me. I need to know when there is at least one assigned to me. And I need to know when there are more than one assigned to me. Right? If I do those 3 scenarios, then I know I can see everything that is assigned to me. So that's part 1. The other aspect I need to see it is, okay, if there are other in the system that is not assigned to me, then I should not be able to see it. Right? So think about it, that requirement, you have to actually prove 2 different parts of it. One is everything that is assigned to me, I can see it. And the other part is anything that is not assigned to me, I should not be able to see. So that's where the only condition comes in that you need to think about it. How are you going to prove that condition?
So with this condition, how would you go about it? Would you ask Arfloan for multiple accounts so that you can test?
You create, remember, you have ability to create it as a tester. You can create as many lenders as you want. You can create as many dealers as you want. You can create as many credit applications as you want.
Okay.
Yeah, in order to prove this one. Yep.
How many you will need it in order to prove this requirement? That's what you need to think about.
Okay.
Okay. And Harshal, you should also show it. If there is nothing assigned, then they won't be able to see it. If there is a 1 assigned, they can see that 1. So there's 0, 1, and 1 plus scenarios.
1 assigned.
Right. And the final scenario is anything assigned to somebody else, I should not be able to see it.
Right.
So we cannot see anything when there is no application being submitted. So dealer should not submit anything.
So let's say that you started system and there is no credit application. Should, as a lender, should I be able to see it? No, right?
No.
But is that means there is nothing else also exists for the others? I don't know. So therefore, I need to create a data where it says, okay, if there is nothing, nobody should be able to see it. If there is at least one, or if there is only one application, only the lender who is assigned to it should be able to see it, and nobody else should be able to see anything, right? Because there's only one credit application in the system. If there are more than one applications in the system, that's when you come in. Okay, who all it is assigned to? Is this all assigned to one lender, or is it assigned to more than one lender? And that's when the 3 aspects of 0, 1, or 1 plus on the 3 left side that Harshal showed it comes into play. Okay, so this one, you have 4 scenarios. Now you need to think about this one more carefully. How are we going to prove each of the scenarios?
Yes, so the steps are important. Okay, I think somebody mentioned, I think it was right direction that you need to work through multiple lenders and
multiple credit
apps and so forth. So that would go in your steps, logical steps or actual steps that you put in. Okay.
So I would like you guys to think a little bit more about how you go about the steps, because it's an important, right?
Yeah.
So think overnight, right? When we meet next Thursday, I would like to review this particular thing first.
Right. Yep.
Is it something like we have to be as a dealer, we will be creating the application and again put the lender and again we will be the lender and go and see?
Yep.
You are kind of like a god, right? I mean, you can take on any role. You
Yes.
can be anything in the system.
Think about it, what steps you need to perform in order to A, set up the scenario, what should be your preconditions, and what are your expected results for each one of the steps.
Plus, you can be anything. You can be lender, you can be site admin, whatever role you need to take in. You can create all those accounts and work through the process. Yep. That's what QAs do. I mean, in the real life. Okay.
A little bit clarity I need. I thought access means we can open only the application. We can open and access that application, and like as part of means I'm understanding we even not able to see how many application in that particular software is there or something like that. Basically, I was thinking like anybody can see anybody, but means how many application in the system is there. So they can access only what is assigned to them by name. Means suppose I'm my name is Nitin and my firm is name is Nitin too, and somebody assigning application one for Intel software and one to Nitin. So I can see that application which is Intel, but if I try to open, I'm not able to open. I can open only Nitin application.
Is that what it says in the requirement, Nitin?
So,
or you are assuming?
Yeah, no, not I'm not assuming, sir. Actually, in that particular 2.1, lender can only access the credit application assigned to them. Means what I understand that he can see, but he cannot access. So
no, he can access. So you just need clarification then what it means, right?
Yeah,
because sometimes you interpret differently, and I'm sure other folks are interpreting it differently, right? So what it means is the lender will get those credit applications that are assigned by dealers to them, right? Now, lender is a company. Remember that.
Yes, sir.
Right. So if there are multiple users working at the lender, they will be able to see all the, like JP Morgan Chase have 50 employees working over there. As long as they are part of the same company, they should be able to see the credit application assigned to JP Morgan Chase. That's the context you need to have.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes.
Now, if I'm working for maybe Fifth Third Bank, I should not be able to see any application that are assigned to JP Morgan Chase, but any employee from JP Morgan can work through that application, approve or reject it, and be done with it. So that when the dealer assigns the credit applications, they are not assigning to individual user at the lender company. They are assigning to a company like a lender.
Yeah. So my main thought was I just want to more clarification in that particular requirement. That word access means only they are not only access, they can not see even too.
Yeah,
so
cannot even see. Yep, that is correct. Yes. Access meaning you can think it that way. They cannot see it. Yeah.
Yeah, I cannot see them. Previously I was only thinking on particular that prospect. So now I understand, sir.
Yep. I mean, these are good questions. Okay. I mean, because everybody interprets differently, right? And you should bring that up. There is nothing wrong with this question. I mean, you just need to clarify.
Thanks a lot.
Okay. All right. So everybody is good with the scenarios, with the 6 requirements. I think we went over 5. One we discussed in the class. So I think the 6 are there. You're gonna get 3 more for your homework. Okay, between now and next Thursday, because this part is important for you. Okay, to understand the context and breaking down the requirements. So I'll send you guys email most likely by tomorrow. You should have that. So you can just work through it on your own or work in the teams, however you guys want to do it, and come up with the trees only for those requirements. Okay, but you guys do have a homework, right? Write 1 test case each. So now you have all the lists. Hopefully you can start thinking about how I'm going to actually write the steps and write the detailed test cases. So those we will review on Thursday, along with the 3 test scenarios, if you have time. Any question on anything before? I think it's 8:35. So
and we'll get the recording of this.
Yes, I'll put the
session.
recording out. Unfortunately, I won't have screenshots, but you can refer back to the recording if you need to go back. Okay. Alrighty, then I think we can break here, and I'll shoot you guys.
Before you leave, can you scroll up? Let me just take a quick picture of. Just scroll up real quick.
There are so many things there. I think best would be to. Okay, hopefully this one will fit in.
Yes, that's fine.
Okay. There's one more here. If you guys want to take a picture, I don't know whether you can read my handwriting. That's the only thing.
Yeah, no, don't worry, I can read it.
Yeah, there's one more here.
All right, that's fine.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
All right. Great. Then we're not gonna meet this weekend, so we'll see you guys on Thursday. Otherwise,
everyone have a great weekend.
Yep.
Thank you.
Enjoy
Have
the
a
long
good
weekend. All right.
Have a great weekend.
All right.
Okay then.
Have a good night.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.